Welcome back to episode 2, technically, of Punchline Pixels. I'm Laird Wysocki, here as your co-host again, joined by my ever-present and ever-friendly co-host, Alex Van Dam.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2. It's great to be back. We tried to record an episode 2, full disclosure, and it didn't quite work out. So here we are. We're doing it again, and it's great to be back. There's a lot to talk about, I guess, in the world of gaming.
There is.
Start with the obvious, I guess, right off the bat. Zelda.
Zelda.
What do you think? What's going on, man? You've been playing it too, right?
Yeah, I'm not too far in. I bought it while I was out of state, so I really haven't sat down and played it as much as I would have liked to have, but I was a big fan of Breath of the Wild, so going back...
Breath of the Wild?
Oh, God. I could have edited that out, but now that you said it...
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. It's like Breath of the Wild, but it's about a girl named Bethany.
Sounds like a porn version.
All right,
of
we're moving
Zelda.
on from my mistakenly said Breath of the Wild. I was a big fan of that, so I knew I would like this one going into it. And yeah, it's great. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild 2.0 in some ways, being in the same map. But for as much as I've explored on the mainland, it's still different. It's Hyrule, but there's variations in the landscape than what Breath of the Wild had. So I guess it almost lends to it being Breath of the Wild 2.0 even more so. But what do you think?
How far are you? I don't want to...
Well, okay, I'm off the tutorial island.
Anything,
I'm off the tutorial, and I'm into the main one, and we want to stay as spoiler-free as possible here, too. So I'm probably an hour and a half to 2 hours on the land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm probably about... 6-7 hours in. Just spent a lot of time exploring, doing random shit. So, when you got to the mainland, this is not really a spoiler, but pretty early on, how they pretty much set you up with one of those wood caches where there's, stuff to... Did you take time to build a ramp there? Probably 90% of people did.
Oh,
or not a ramp, a wagon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's almost what you're directed to do, more or less.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't have to at all. And, so what happened in that situation for me, I did what everyone was supposed to do, what they wanted you to do, or what it seemed like they wanted you to do, and I built a little car right there with the wheel. Initially, I put the wheels on the bottom like some stupid fucking cartoon, and realized that they can't go, because that's not how wheels work.
That is stupid.
I'm dumb as shit.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we've covered that yet, but I'm stupid. No.
You don't need to specify that.
Oh, okay. That's already...
They're getting it.
They got the impression in episode 1.
It's in our description.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, no, I built the car, I changed it so the wheels were in the proper place eventually. Mm-hmm. And then I put one of those fucking fire things that shoot out. I put that on the front because I thought that would be tight. A car with flames shooting out of the front of it, that's fucking sweet. Went through all that effort and was just like, all right, here we go. Maiden voyage. I'm pumped. Got everything going. Hit the fans to get it going, get it moving. Yep. Hit the fire thing in the front, and it immediately set the car on fire, killed me, and burned it immediately. It was probably about 20 seconds, and that was 5 minutes or so of work that were immediately destroyed. But
that's the thing about that game.
What that's about, right?
Yeah, that game is about physics in a lot of ways. How things would actually react. Totally makes sense.
I should have thought it through.
You should have. You should have. But
that's pretty much the moral of my life, though.
Right.
Should have thought it through.
Yep. Ain't that the truth, man? Look where you're at now.
Well,
if you would have thought things through, sky's the limit.
I mean, I would rather be here than anywhere else, Laird. I'm going to be honest with you, and with nobody else other than you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very touching moment that we're capturing here live and in person. Well, we're in person. You're not. You're listening.
No, so I after I did all that bullshit and explored around for a little while, I fucking kind of pretty much have been going on the main directive that they want you to do and explore the different areas of Hyrule and figure out what the anomalies are or whatever that are going on in each area. So I just completed the Wind Temple, the first area, basically. Okay. So about 6-7 hours into the game.
For sure.
Not too far. But I'm really liking it so far. I'm not gonna lie, there were moments in the game where I was just like, fuck this. There were moments of frustration early on. It is, like you said, Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, essentially that's what they're going for. I'm not knocking it even. That's what it is, with added, abilities and physics. And I think as we keep going, though, as we dive in, we're going to realize it's a lot more than that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think we're going to give it more credit here in the next episode. I feel like we're going to be bigger fans of it.
And
I'm not trying to put...
I don't even think it's necessarily an insult either.
Yeah.
You see... Look at God of War just did it recently. Majora's Mask did it back in the day. When they reuse an engine and call it a sequel, it's always going to feel like a 0.5 in some ways. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say that it's all bad to say that it's Breath of the Wild 2.0. Breath of the Wild is, look at, some people would call it a masterpiece. It was 9 out of 10s and 10s out of 10s across the board. So to be called that is probably the greatest compliment they can get. How many times does a sequel come out and it's super shitty compared to the original? More often than not, that's the case. It's like, play it safe, use the same engine, do the thing. It's almost like recreate what you did before, but improve upon it, Yeah. Look what they did. I mean, this whole world above Hyrule, and I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, it's pretty early in the game, and underneath Hyrule.
Yeah, the caves. Yeah,
I'd say your temple reference is a bit of a spoiler, though.
Is it? You think so?
I don't know if people can assume there's temples in it after the first one. You're a piece of shit, you know that?
All right, well, wind area.
Moving on.
I don't know.
Well, there's no correcting at this point. It's recorded. It's in history here.
Jesus Christ.
People will be listening to this for years and years.
Well, that's fine. I'm comfortable with it.
27 fans.
Feel free to email me, alexmvandam@gmail.com.
Alex.m.vandam.
There's no dots.
Oh, there isn't?
No, there's no dots.
You strike me as a dot guy. You just
no dots in the email, Laird.
You run it all through like a amalgamation of a long word?
Amalgamation. I'm sorry, you tripped me up with the word amalgamation. Like we already spoke about. I'm not the smartest, so you gotta use short and easy words with me.
I'll dumb it down.
So I don't know about Zelda. I'm really excited to dive in further and move on to the next areas. I mean, it's not the same as Breath of the Wild entirely. The physics, obviously, they added a lot of new shit there. It's the same shit, though. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer and shit. I feel like that's how I came across in the first episode a little bit, like Mr. Negative. That's not who I am. No. See, you can tell by the way my voice just picked up a little bit there. I'm a happy guy.
That's what people
I'm doing all right.
Lying. That's what people do when they're
lying,
right,
too. Guys. It is the same map. The caves aren't thrilling. I don't know if you've explored any of the caves yet.
Yeah, for sure. I've delved in a little.
There's nothing like thrilling going on there yet, at least. I'm sure maybe they'll expand on caves a little bit.
Right.
Exploring the skies is cool. I've gotten disoriented on a couple occasions exploring the skies, and the controls aren't the best.
Yeah, I think that's one of my main critiques.
That's the only knocks I have on it so far.
But I could reference that back to Red Dead 2. I feel like I have the same struggles with this game that I did with Red Dead, where it's like, if you don't play that game consistently, you forget the controls, you get a little mixed up every once in a while, then you're in the... Like, I'm constantly throwing my weapon at people accidentally.
Oh, yeah,
Constantly, dude. Because I don't know what... I don't know. Maybe I'm just not paying enough attention, or...
Trying to shoot an arrow or something.
Right. That's exactly it. That's exactly what it is, dude. So
throw my torch at you.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my main critiques. One of my critiques about Zelda in general, I think, and I'm hoping that this game can fix it, but so far I haven't seen it, is I don't think the game balances its reward system well. After you go through a really extensive maze or difficult part, or really a part that draws you in, the reward at the end is like 50 rupees. You know what I mean?
I understand what you mean. There isn't a lot of consistency with the chests, even so far in Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's times where I've been like, I found like a remote area or something that's like, holy shit, like, what did I find? This is fucking something exclusive. And then I open it up and it's like, here's a green rupee, man.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Fuck yeah. Here you go. Here's 5 arrows. Carry on. And yeah.
But again, I feel like that's been a complaint. I think that's a problem with Zelda's across the board. I think it's always been like that.
It's been a long time since I've played anything other than Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Like, since I've played an older Zelda game.
Yeah, because you didn't buy that Switch one, Skyward Sword on Switch.
I didn't buy it on Switch.
Yeah.
I played it on, Wii or whatever the fuck
if you ever want to borrow it.
I've already beaten Skyward Sword before.
It. Oh. I was just saying, if you wanted to, you can't borrow it.
I should have let you finish. I'm so sorry.
You're being presumptuous, if I'm being honest. But
I should just always assume.
But all in all, though, man, I know we talked originally about how the preview wasn't hyping you, and then you came back in we'll call it episode 1.5 for us. You came back and said that, hey, the preview did a good job hyping up a little bit. How do you think it's delivered now that you played it and you're, 9 hours in?
Exactly what we expected. You know what I mean? There's no me being like, holy shit, man. Yeah, it's exactly what we expected.
But also I'd say the preview.
But yeah, holy shit!
That.
Like, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that. It's a solid 9.5 out of 10 game.
Yeah. I don't think any game handles exploration like Zelda does.
No.
Or at least these two new ones.
And so far, I'm liking the exploration in this new one more than the other one, just because of the sheer ability to... I mean, the traversal's better overall. Part of that's because of the new abilities, too.
I think that's something that's really unique to it, is these new abilities that they're giving you. To give you a standpoint of where I'm at, I just got the glider. That's where I'm at. You know? So I'm pretty excited about that. I felt very stilted since then, exploring and not being able to glide down. I've died so many times in that game already. So many times. And I mean, I'm trying to do shit I probably shouldn't be doing,
Yeah.
And so it always pays off in me dying.
It's kind of weird, and obviously this is an apt comparison because this game is probably somewhat based on Breath of the Wild, but it reminds me of Elden Ring in certain points.
I think Elden Ring took a lot from Breath of the Wild.
I mean, I think that's obvious.
I think it's pretty public, though.
Yeah.
That was one of the big design influences.
But this almost, I don't know, it does remind me of that in some aspects. I wonder if they actually took some... I wonder if the developers of Zelda played Elden Ring and were like, all right, it took some inspiration back from that. But there's been a lot of times in this game where I've gotten one-shotted by enemies and shit like that, you know what I mean?
For sure. Especially early in the game like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too much higher than 5 hearts, I think.
And it's an exploration game, so that's to be expected, I guess, too, when you go off the beaten path and go somewhere you maybe not supposed to be. For listeners, I just did air quotes on the word supposed.
He did.
Someday we'll have video to back that up, but it's exactly what we expected, and I'm excited to keep going with it, because I think that the further we go, the more I'm going to fall in love with it. I like it more than Breath of the Wild already. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that it's going to go any place further than what we've already experienced, but I am kind of curious to see. We did talk in the first episode about how I think people are going to build crazy shit, and I don't think it's going to be like on that level.
Dude, have you seen some of the stuff?
I mean, I've seen some stuff.
Dude, it's so funny. I mean, what people are doing? A lot of dicks.
A lot of dicks,
dude.
And give people an opportunity to make something.
Exactly.
There will be dicks.
Dude, a big thing is taking the Koroks who are looking for their friend and torturing them. Mm-hmm. And so they're building these huge...
I've seen that. I did see that.
Spitfire roast and things like that, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, no, I did see the rotisserie Korok
Absolutely.
thing.
And do you see the crucifixion?
Yeah. There's been a lot of crucifix Koroks.
It's so funny, man.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was trying to compare it to saying that there might be a Minecraft, essence to. I don't know if it'll be on that level. But,
I don't think it can be. I think it's too stilted in that essence.
It's not supposed to be either.
Right,
so
exactly. And thank God,
if
I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Hey, what if Jesus was a Korok?
Would he be always trying to look for his friends all the time, the way they are?
Wasn't he, though?
Yeah, you're right.
Wasn't he always just looking for friends, dude? Holy shit. I think we just discovered that this game is some sort of allegory for Christianity.
Dude, I'm sure you could come up with something there.
Dude.
If we really dove hard into that.
Dude. Let's do it. Let's go. Okay. All right, well, moving on from Zelda. Did you see Guardians of the Galaxy?
I did not. I did not see Guardians of the Galaxy. Wait, the first one?
The first one? No, okay. No, that's a valid question because I just said, did you see Guardians of the Galaxy? No, I meant...
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yes.
Okay. Are they going with the volume thing still?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's volume 3, yeah.
Gotcha. No, I haven't seen it. I've heard mostly good things about it. I've heard... I don't know. I'm curious to hear what your opinion is, but from what I've heard, the needle drops are getting a little too on the nose. And by that, I mean the music drops.
Oh, my God, dude.
Which, that was always their thing. But I feel like they kind of paved the way for other movies in the superhero genre. Like
definitely movies in the superhero genre to have that, like, soundtrack. But I think Scorsese's, like, the first who did it in general, in movies.
Well, yeah, no, I'm talking, how Guardians of the Galaxy 1 will basically...
Like, the soundtrack is a big part of it, too. Like, I was excited to hear the third soundtrack because, the
second one was solid, too.
Yeah, we listen to the first and second one all the time. It's a great collection of songs. Here's the problem when something becomes successful, is they find the things that made it successful and they accentuate upon it. Like, look at the second one. I think Drax being funny was something that stood out in the first one. And so on the second one, they made him have too many lines of joke. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like once they figure out what works, they overcorrect. they're too obvious with it. So now it's like this soundtrack for the third one, it is. It's too on the nose, and honestly, the worst of the three.
Drax isn't that funny, to be honest with you.
You're going to make a lot of people? You're going to make these 27 people? You're going to make a lot of 27 people mad.
Drax is not that funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's not fair. He made me laugh a couple times.
So the third one is, firstly, the saddest of all of them. I'd say
Who dies? Tell everyone right now.
A third of it is just sad shit.
Well, fucking Yondu's gone, so I'm
spoiler,
still sad
dude.
about that. That's not Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I know. Still a spoiler.
Oh, come on. If you haven't seen the first two by now, and that might even... Is that the second one?
That is the second one, yeah.
But yeah, no, big Yondu guy over here.
Yeah, I like that actor.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. But yeah.
I was going to say...
Oh, fuck. No, it's right there.
I'll probably cut this out of the podcast anyway.
No, hold on. Let's get like 10 minutes of me trying to think of who. Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker. Damn it.
Damn, we both had it the same time.
I want to say Mickey Rourke, and I was like, it's something
Mickey
like
Rourke.
that.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut all this out. I'm cutting all of this
No,
out.
actually, I kind of like this.
You like this?
Yeah, this is what it's all about.
That's true.
This is maybe the most entertaining part so far.
So you didn't watch it. My review of it, it was good. It's worth seeing. I'd say go see it in theaters. That's the best way to watch a Marvel movie, is in theaters. Yeah. And they've been really shitty lately. So this is the one to go see in theaters.
I need to see more movies in theaters in general.
We should go to the movies, dude.
Yeah.
Just in a little mandate.
Do they still give handjobs in movie theaters? Mm-hmm. Are you still
gotta have the
to
popcorn thing over it, though.
That's still a thing.
Yeah, you gotta put the dick in the popcorn. Otherwise, I'm not about it. You can't be so overt with it, you know?
Yeah. So obvious about it.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you gotta, like, at least put it in the milk dud box or
I don't know,
Junior Mints.
I don't want to put my dick in some popcorn and get it all greasy and buttery and shit.
Well, then you ain't getting a handy.
Well,
you know?
Yeah, I guess there's nothing better than a buttery
With great power comes great responsibility, dude. Everybody can apply that to. That's very applicable to everybody's
we can put
life.
this to test. I'm being serious now. What's the next big movie coming out that you can think of? That you
Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan's new movie.
Is that okay?
Yep. So
I'd be willing to see that and get a buttery
hand
job at the movie. With who?
Us.
Oh, hold on.
Not gonna see Oppenheimer without Emily.
Okay.
You know how it is, though. If you're hanging out with folks, when Alex is hanging out with us,
I'm always the guy that is alone. All my friends are either married or in serious relationships, and then here comes this fucking asshole.
But we always
33-year-old asshole.
We always want you there.
That's a good point. Well, you say that.
I invite you, don't I?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
If I didn't want you there, I wouldn't invite you.
You're a good guy. I appreciate that.
So, hey, he's got it recorded now. That's proof that Alex does indeed think I'm a good guy, despite anything he may say otherwise.
Yeah. Well.
So moving on from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I'm going to touch base. Did you see anything on Redfall? This is maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point.
I watched a video review on it. Boy, does it look like shit.
Dude. What? I'm getting so sick of broken games getting pushed out. Obligations outside of wanting to make a good game or something like that.
It looks broken, but on top of that, honestly, it just doesn't look that great anyway.
Agreed.
And I don't know. I feel bad even saying that because I do really like those developers.
Oh, of course. Everybody loved Dishonored. Everybody loved Dishonored. Yeah, that's amazing. But the problem is, they've only gone down since Dishonored. Yeah. Look at Deathloop.
Even Dishonored 2 wasn't...
Agreed.
Probably not as good as the first one.
Yep.
Deathloop, though, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's fair, necessarily. Deathloop was great. I really liked Deathloop. I thought that was really an interesting game.
But you wouldn't put it in your...
It's a cool concept.
Okay, the year it came out, would it be in your top 5?
Probably not.
Now, the year Dishonored came out, would that have been in your top 5?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's tough because I don't think it would have been in my top 5. Did you play Thief back in the day? Old PC game.
I think I did very briefly.
Yeah, I shout out to my brother Lyric. We would play a lot of PC games, like really obscure ones growing up. And Thief was one of them. And Dishonored is so what Thief would be nowadays if the developer could actually make a good game anymore, with abilities added to it. So it was just a really cool thing to experience growing up with those games. But ever since then, man, they just... Praise probably the last time they did something good.
Yeah, that's what I was...
Yeah, it's Arcane and it's actually Bethesda as well. Oh boy. I'll edit that out, don't worry.
It's fine. No, but did you play Deathloop?
I have it, yeah.
Okay.
I've barely dabbled in it. Because there's
cool.
so many other games.
The level design is interesting to me. And I don't know. I think they did a good job with the level design.
You like time loop games?
I like roguelikes. which I guess you could maybe call that a time loop.
I'd say all-time loop
time
games are time likes. That's an interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, let's call it that. They're time likes. That's what Deathloop is. But I think time loop games are almost always inevitably a roguelike.
Well, in a way,
because you have to build upon it somehow. Well, Majora's Mask was
Deathloop,
a roguelike.
I would call a roguelike.
Is a time like.
Yeah.
Because you kept abilities that you didn't have the time before. Seeing the development, like, Xbox has no exclusives this generation so far. Nothing noteworthy. Name one thing outside of Halo that was even noteworthy, let alone good.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
That's true, though.
But that's the only thing that comes to mind.
Yep.
I haven't been able to play that game because I don't have an Xbox.
I don't either. I'd be willing to buy just the little digital version if they had something worth buying it for. Starfield. That's the only thing.
Might be if...
But now I'm worried about it.
Why?
Because it's still Bethesda. Bethesda's just been pushing out garbage. And honestly, when I watched that preview, I wasn't excited about that.
Yeah.
I thought it looked just like everything else. And I get it. Like, they have a formula that they stick with. But it's like, dude...
They're going to have to mix it up
It's
somehow.
Skyrim in space. And I get that that's probably the appeal of it to a lot of people. But I also want it to be something more than that.
I mean, did you ever play The Outer Worlds? I feel like it's going to go down a path like that.
Well, we should hope so, because I think
That game's not that bad.
they're better developers than Bethesda sometimes. They piggyback off a lot of their ideas, obviously, but Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout, narratively, I'd have to say, and that's Obsidian, you know? So it's like Obsidian made The Outer Worlds as well, so it's like, maybe they should emulate their formula a little bit more than what they do, you know?
That's fair. I recently started a New Vegas file, and it was great to get back in the swing of that. I don't know, like...
They just had that for free on Epic the other day.
Yeah, you can play it on PlayStation. You can stream it right now, and it's free.
Dude, you don't PC game at all, do you?
I don't. No.
Dude, you missed out on so many free games.
But
they just gave away Death Stranding and...
But you don't PC game, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, on my, this right here.
Oh, you play on your laptop?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Dude, this has a great processor and good memory because I got it for day trading. Sure.
Give it to me.
Yep.
All right.
Folks,
now
you saw
I'm
it.
a PC gamer.
There you go.
All right, guys.
And you got a good collection on this, too. Did you see anything on that Gollum game, Lord of the Rings?
Oh, God. I did. I watched a review on it, and I got to be honest with you, it looks fucking great. I can't wait to pick it up full price.
Full $60 price
Actually,
tag?
I think I might donate more money to it because I think it looks so fucking good.
Because you appreciate the developer so much.
Yeah. No. All sarcasm aside, looks awful.
Doesn't
it looks
it, though?
like they really shit the bed on that
Dude,
one.
were you ever excited about it?
No, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy off the bat, to be honest
I love
with
it.
you. But Gollum wants to play as that fucking guy.
Dude, it's just like I said in the first episode. These developers need to look
the
and
least
ask,
appealing character in the series.
does anybody
Let's
give a
play
shit?
as him.
Does anybody give a shit? That's the question that needs to be addressed when they're thinking of these games to develop. Ever since I heard about that game, it was like, who cares? Who wants that? Who's asking
what
for...
does he do that's like...
Basically,
does
this
he have
is...
like fun ability? Like, you know what I mean? You want to play a character that...
It seems like it's very stealth-based.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's...
Firstly, it's not great-looking stealth in general. It's very... Look, it's like Thief.
Looks
Just like
awkward.
that game or Splinter
Awkward.
Cell. It looks like it's in the shadows. They should be able to see you. And that was okay back in the original Xbox days, but in the generation we're in now, you need to grow up with the gamer, you know? And that game is 2 decades too late.
The stealth looks awkward. The animations, everything. The graphics look very poor.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game I'm not going to play, simply put.
Same. I don't think I was ever...
skipped by a lot of people.
Honestly, even if it came in 9 out of 10s, I probably still wouldn't play it. It's just not an enticing enough subject
I barely
matter.
played the Shadow of Mordor games.
I've never played them, but I have them on the
Really?
PC.
Oh, you're a Lord of the Rings guy. There you go, dude.
I am,
Those
but
are good games.
I also...
They have
The formula
cool
is a little
system.
boring to me. I like the Nemesis system, for sure. Love that idea.
So
I think the formula is just too Assassin's Creed-y, and I think the Ubisoft formula, man, it just gets stale so quick, man.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to transition into this right away, but are you excited for the Assassin's Creed?
I think that's a solid
Mirage at
transition
all?
right there, because I was going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
No. I'm not, dude. And I was going to say that, too. It's like
scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for
6.
Assassin's Creed Mirage?
Okay,
that's fair. That's more than I thought you would say.
I probably won't buy it
Give me a no,
even on a
and then you give me
heavy
a 6.
sale, dude.
And you said no, and then you gave me a 6.
Yeah, but I could... Yeah, well, because I know...
Moderate.
I know what's going to happen.
Back to the basics.
First, we played. It's the Middle Eastern setting too.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's like. I think maybe it was Turkey. I don't recall, but this is another Middle Eastern based setting, and dude, we've already had Assassin's Creed 2 in that setting. Let alone going back to it. I mean,
I was a big Black Flag fan.
I loved it. It's probably my favorite.
I mean, overall, I'm probably a 6 or 7 out of 10 on the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Have you liked the new ones? Have you liked like
Valhalla,
Odyssey,
Origins? To be fair, I probably put the most time into Odyssey out of any of them.
I'd say it probably I don't know. This new one demands a lot of time too.
It's great, but there's
Odyssey's map was the biggest, I think.
Too big, essentially, and that's what they're trying to do with this new one is essentially go back to the basics and kind of make it a more isolated area, which I'm all for because. I don't know. I think I talked about it a little bit with open world games in general in the first episode. Maybe it was 1.5. I don't know. People just, they tend to just, Dead Island is what we were talking about. How I like that it's not going to be an open world game.
The new one that's
just a lot of filler and bullshit.
I agree.
Odyssey in particular was just hours and hours of just tacked on content in areas that didn't need to be there.
And like the same shit over and over.
I barely scratched the surface of the game, and I probably put 60 hours into it.
I probably put 30 or 40 in, and it just honestly. And then I don't think the England setting is the most interesting setting either. England's not the most interesting landscape in general. Yeah, just kind of rolling green hills everywhere. With rivers cutting through it, maybe there was variation later in.
Odyssey, I mean, don't get me wrong. The landscape in Odyssey was awesome. Like it was really cool. I think it's the most interesting. The architecture and the structures and everything, statues.
That's Greece, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's the thing about traveling. Like when you go to these like ancient sites, it's like
they don't let you climb on the monuments.
Fuck, they don't let you. They don't let you within like 50 feet of it. You're behind like a rope, dude. All these pictures people take on like Instagram and shit. Yeah. They don't show that there's like 150 people on the other side of that camera thing.
I don't leave my house, so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that's good to know
you're here.
That's true.
This is a vacation for you.
Soon, so
this is a vacation.
Yeah, I got good dressed like I'm on vacation right now.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Before we even touch base on anything on the showcase, pretty entertaining. I was entertained. What's your general consensus about PlayStation's? That's pretty much their thing for the year or two.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those games, obviously, it's already been said, are not PlayStation exclusives. I would actually have to dive in entirely and see which ones are. I know not all of them are.
A lot of them are going to be PC and PlayStation now. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing going on. If they have a live service game, it's probably going to be PC and PlayStation.
Honestly, I feel like there's been a somewhat moderate response online.
Yeah.
Once again, 1 out of 10, I would give it a fucking 8. Like, I loved it. I loved the presentation. There were a lot of little games that I thought were great.
Yeah.
You had, like, your big games, your Metal Gear Solid, obviously, Delta.
Dude, you're just going to jump into that one first?
I'm sorry, I dove head first.
Right you got
your big ones. I can circle back. I'm just saying, you got your ones like that. Your Spider-Man 2, which we knew about, but they had some gameplay footage which looked great.
Absolutely.
And then you got your little ones like the Plucky Squire, which I thought looked really cool.
I mean, you've watched previews for that before this, right?
What, the Plucky Squire? Yeah. I've heard of it. I've seen things on it, but just
super unique, dude. It looks great.
I guess it wasn't anything crazy and groundbreaking that made you go, "Holy shit! Did you see that showcase?" But other than Metal Gear, obviously. But
I don't think that's Well, I guess we'll get to that. But I'll have a question at the end here about what your favorite thing was. Okay. I don't want to start by talking about your favorite. Maybe save your favorite for the end.
Okay.
And if you happen to bring up my favorite.
I got a couple favorites from that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, feel free to start on... You want to start with, like, indies or something small?
I don't know. I guess I already touched on the Plucky Squire,
yep.
which is, I assume, an indie game. It's an indie-looking game.
Dear God, it looks really cool.
AAA
into that.
The art style looks phenomenal.
Yeah, super unique. No, I don't know anybody doing that, like, real-life / drawing style. So, and I think in the end, with an indie, sometimes the art presentation's maybe the most important thing. Mm-hmm. I think that's why games like was Gris or Gree. I don't know if you played that.
Yeah, that's...
I think that's what made that one stand out, is it had a really emotional narrative, and the art style was great. Now they have that new one coming out. Was it the Neva?
Yeah, that's the people that made Gris.
I thought they were never going to release anything.
Did you have that one?
No,
in the
I
barrel?
didn't actually.
Okay,
yeah, that's when I looked at it.
Thank God. All right, because if you did, I would have left right now. This would have been the end of the podcast.
End of your vacation.
Yeah, every day is a vacation when I'm leaving the house.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and every day is winding.
So work is like vacation to you. That's a good way to live.
Yeah, that's
a good way to live, right there.
Positive outlook that I have. See, I'm trying to be Mr. Positive in episode 2.
You're overcorrecting.
Yeah.
You're overcorrecting.
Yeah. Hey, everything's awesome. Even though I just fucking seems like I was being negative about Zelda for a minute there. Anyway, we can talk indie games, I guess, a little bit more. I have a couple favorites that have stood out during the PlayStation Showcase. Yeah. One of them is an indie game, Sword of the Sea.
Yep, it looked great.
Looked phenomenal. Yeah. I was a huge fucking fan of Journey.
Yeah.
I loved that game.
For sure.
I loved everything that they've done, and this looks like Journey surfing. I don't know. It's like a desert, but it's like the ocean. It's like a moving. I don't know, man. Whatever the hell's going on there. I'm excited to play it.
And the art style, again, with these indies, it's like that's something they've done really well too with Journey, and it's like if the depth is in the art style over the gameplay mechanics, it's going to get old for me too quickly. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing that, I think you can do it, but it has to be like a 3 to 4 hour game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which it worked for Journey because it was a short experience.
Exactly.
And that's probably honestly what Sword of the Sea is going to be too. I'm sure it's going to be like a handful of hours, right?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if they've actually come out and said anything about the length of the game yet. But...
I mean, I think it was really just revealed. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you look into depth of some of these previews, there are more content that they released afterwards. But I can't think of anything else. What's your next indie game?
Well, that was the only, one of my favorite games out of the showcase that was an indie. Sword of the Sea. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Not just for the art style, which is great. Music, awesome too in a lot of those games.
Absolutely.
But the traversal in general, just the movement looks great. I don't know. Did you beat Journey? Did you get far in Journey?
No, but I'm aware of how the game ends.
Yeah,
I kind of had it spoiled
get
for me.
Your tail, your scarf, whatever, gets longer and longer as you collect.
It's like growing up as a male.
Sure, your scarf gets longer and
hangs lower.
Yeah, exactly. And then you could, as you move on, you jump higher and further, move faster, or whatever. It's a lot of fun to play.
It's like your progression.
Yeah.
Minimalist progression system. That's kind of what those games thrive in.
Sure, Sword of the Sea will have some element of that or some version of. But another one I'm looking forward to is this Ultros game. I don't know if you saw anything on this.
I'm trying to think. What is it?
It's the one. It almost looks like a Metroidvania, but it's a fucking 60s psychedelic art style.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yep.
Looks
exactly
fucking nuts.
Yeah.
The art style, that 100% is the main reason I'm excited for that one or looking forward to it at all. That was fucking cool, man.
It's like a hand-drawn, too.
Yeah.
I
think there's a hand-drawn element, but it's definitely 60s.
It's got to do something different, though. Because, an hour in, you're going to be wondering what else it's got. But I don't mean to throw it under the bus.
It almost looks like a Hollow Knight type game, or like a, which I like.
It could hope to be a Hollow Knight game.
No, another indie game though is Revenant Hill.
Yep.
Looks pretty good. I don't know if did you play Night in the Woods at all?
No. And after watching Revenant Hill's preview, I'm not particularly.
I know that's probably not up your alley.
Go to. And again, I understand the appeal of those games. I just know when I go to play those games, they wear thin very quickly for me.
Yeah, you're more of like a, Call of Duty hack and slay. You want to punch things and shit to blow up.
Terrible.
See, whereas me, I'm more introspective and I want to play a game like Night in the Woods where I'm like, you're thinking about life and coming of age story, and you might start questioning some things. No, I'm only kidding.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm only kidding, obviously. That's not... I don't think either of... Well, that part I might not be kidding about. But no, neither of us are like that guy, the in-your-face explosion gamer. But Night in the Woods, I did enjoy the story in that game. That's what you're going to get. It's just very much the same art style, it looks like, in Revenant Hill. But there are moments in those games that are touching, coming-of-age story type shit, which, I don't know, I guess it's not for everybody.
Do you like those walking simulator style games?
I do like those
kind of games.
And
things like,
Lake. Or whatever that game is. I'm about to start that actually soon. I've never played
I've never played any of them, but I've always wanted to play them.
Some of them are really good.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't entertaining at all.
I feel like it'd only be like the big ones I'd play. I never played Firewatch. And
Firewatch is great.
Yeah, and I've never played it. Did you ever play, speaking of this, I kind of want to touch base on this. Did you ever play The Outer Wilds?
Oh, Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
That's one that I think I installed and never actually touched.
What's your thoughts? I've been considering streaming that.
Yeah, let's
first
do it.
time playing it.
Oh wait, are you inviting me?
Well, I don't know maybe we can structure it where we're both playing it somehow.
Yeah.
For the first time. You know, I don't know how we can do that.
Kind of want to be an off-air conversation.
Well, also letting people know who are listening that we're going to be streaming it on Twitch. I am getting the Twitch designation for Punchline Pixels. So
I do want to do that.
Yeah, that'd be super fun.
So,
moving on from the indie scene, I kind of want to get, what is your thoughts on that Foam Star?
That is one of the top 3 that I was going to bring up. One of the top. I know I feel like we might be on a different page with this one. I'm really looking forward to that fucking game, man. If they pull that game off, it looks like a lot of fun. Japanese art style that reminds me of like Persona almost, something like that. I hope they nail the music too, the way that those games do.
Right.
Obviously it's going to be compared to Splatoon, which is a game I love.
There you go.
So
I think that's a big prerequisite to it.
Think
it's like, do you like that style? And also, with it being very Japanese animation influence, do you like that style? If you do, you're going to love this game then.
Yeah, it looks great.
I have zero interest.
You can build... There's a little bit of a difference in it from that in Splatoon, where Splatoon, it's just paint that you're painting on the ground. This is foam.
That is 2 different things, you're right.
No, but you can build, I guess, structures with the foam.
Yep.
And it gives it another little element that makes it different from Splatoon. So can they differentiate themselves from Splatoon enough to make it interesting? I think they will. The art style looks great. I don't know, man. I love Splatoon, and I'm really looking forward to playing this game. So that one was actually one of the ones I had in my top 3.
Interesting.
3 or 4, I guess, sort of the C's.
Yeah, we probably had a vastly different top 3. I would have to assume.
That's good, man.
I agree.
Check different boxes. So.
For sure. I think it's a good way to put it.
Yeah, you like that?
I do. Okay, yeah, Foam Star for me, not interested, but I'm also not interested in Splatoon, so I'm not the demographic they're marketing it to. What about Helldivers?
I put a star next to that one, too.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. That might be, number 5 if I were to put a top 5 in this together.
Keep expanding that top.
I know. Became 3, then it became 4.
It's just going to be everything you talk about is going to be in the top.
So I put Revenant Hill in my top 20. We're going back to that. No, Helldivers 2. Did you play the first Helldivers at all?
No. I know it's a totally different style of game.
Yeah. I played Helldivers 1 with our buddy Isaac. Shout out to him.
Is he listening?
No.
You gotta tell him about it. He's not gonna listen otherwise.
We'll see.
Just fucking tell him.
Anyway, we played Helldivers 1 for a minute, and it was a lot of fun to play co-op with a friend. So Helldivers 2, it looks great.
Yeah, it does.
They obviously changed the, the camera, everything. It's a little bit different. The graphics, it looks like just a better experience overall than the first Helldivers. Like there was more time and more money and everything put into it. I don't know if they have a bigger team now or however that works. I think that probably qualifies as an indie as well.
Which is interesting because it doesn't look it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like the new AA. Now that AA doesn't necessarily exist the way that it used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it looks super fun.
It might be, depending on how the initial reviews come out, that might be a day one purchase for me to play if I can get someone else to play co-op with me.
Folks, that's a big statement. Alex, he goes and he buys games quite often, but for him to make it a prerequisite that it's going to be a day one purchase.
It probably will be. I really enjoyed the first Helldivers. I'm sure they're not going to make it a full price game even.
It's crazy what they're trying to get away with sometimes.
$70 for the new Zelda. I went with the game vouchers and got 2 of them, which is a great deal.
So you went digital?
I did. I went digital with the new Zelda. I'm normally a physical copy person, but the thought of saving that much money on it and then being able to get the new Pikmin game when that comes out in a couple months, that's what I'm going to do.
So what does it do? Just give you a discount on them?
It gives you pay $100, you get 2 vouchers for games.
It's a good deal.
So
it's a good deal.
Right there, you're saving money on Zelda.
Absolutely.
And then
Pikmin will probably be $60. I don't think
Pikmin will probably be $60.
They can't get away with the $70 on that one.
Saving $30, so
yeah, it's a good deal
between the two. So
I paid $70. I paid $70 for the fucking game. First 70.
Did you play it all in Hawaii?
I played for like an hour.
Yeah, I was like, man, how do you game while you're in Hawaii?
You can't. Moving on, Helldivers, you got a heart on.
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be probably a day one purchase, like I said.
You're gonna pre-order and pre-cum.
I don't know about pre-order. I like to see the initial reviews. I don't really pre-order games a whole lot anymore since
smart
Cyberpunk.
Thing not to do. Cyberpunk?
Yeah,
totally
I don't do that as much anymore.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I know you just. What other favorites do you have? Some of my favorites.
I looked at the Spider-Man preview. Looks
great. Did you
great.
play the first one?
No,
you liked it? Really?
But it looks great. I mean, I love the developers, Insomniac, great developers. You got to remember, I missed a generation. I didn't own a PS4 or an Xbox One. And so then when I got back in, I have to like go back and play a lot of those games.
There's ton.
Of course.
Probably.
Especially on PlayStation side. PlayStation kills it with the exclusives. The narratively driven games, you know. By the way, are you downloading Ratchet and Clank this month?
That's one of the games, if we were going to talk about what we're playing right now or whatever. I didn't start it yet. I have it downloaded. I'm going to start it probably either tonight or tomorrow. I'm in the NBA Finals right now in NBA 2K. I'm on the Pistons playing the Lakers. We're in Game 7, which I'm going to play tonight. Wow. So literally the last game of that season. Then I'll probably move on to something else for a minute that isn't NBA 2K because that's what I do a lot. And I'd like to apologize actually to a lot of my friends for being so into NBA 2K. I know it's probably put a damper on some of our relationships.
That and your personality.
That's fair. That's kind of
no.
harsh.
You don't apologize for playing NBA. You apologize for hiding your online status. That's what you have to apologize for.
All right. Well, I'm not going to apologize for that. I don't apologize for shit.
Moving on, Phantom Blade Zero. What'd you think?
Looks great.
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge, Souls-like guy.
Battle system looks nothing like a Souls-like, though.
It's supposed to be, though. Isn't it supposed to be somewhat like a Soulsborne type game?
Did you look at the game?
I did. I watched the game. It looked like Ninja Gaiden mixed with...
It's more like that.
Well, Sekiro.
Maybe aesthetically, it looks more like... Yeah, maybe
like
Sekiro, for
or,
sure.
Neo or one of those types of games.
Yeah.
It's supposed to... I thought it was supposed to be like a Souls...
I mean, that's definitely the impression they had before the battling started.
Mm-hmm.
It was very like great. Bloodborne,
It looks like Ninja Gaiden to me.
Yeah. Once the battling started, it was definitely... I don't know if that's how
over the top.
It also kind of seems like back in the E3 days, you'd see a gameplay thing, and you're like, "There's no way it's going to run like that." The battling system, how he was cutting one, cutting another, cutting both, it was too fluid.
We'll see. There's a lot. I mean, it's
I have yet to see
possible.
that pulled off. Maybe Bayonetta is a game that pulls it off smoothly,
but that's on a Switch. That we're talking.
Right. I mean, the first two games weren't just Switch exclusive, but I'm just saying, like, the fluidity of that combat system, it's still a little herky-jerky when humans are involved. There's still reaction time and button inputs and lag in terms of that, so it's like, the fluidity of that preview seems unrealistic.
Yeah. I mean,
but it looks dope.
Was that one of your favorites?
Absolutely not. All right,
You've hated everything so far.
I was decently unexcited, but what I am excited about, this is my favorite. Marathon, dude.
Okay.
I'm so excited to see Bungie doing something else, man. I'm so excited to see them do something besides Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, it is a game that they've made before.
Right.
It's a complete reimagining.
Now, the worrying thing to me, it's a live service game. Just like Destiny. We'll see. Obviously, they do it, and they do it decently enough.
Sure.
But, man, the music, the aesthetic, it's so unique. And, like, harkening back to the OG Marathon. I mean, I played it before. I didn't play it while it was new.
I never did. Barely. It was like a computer game from the late 90s or whatever.
If not earlier.
I know very little about it because I was a big Halo fanboy back in the day. Right. And I remember people always bringing up Marathon as one of Bungie's games, obviously. I'm a 6 out of 10 on that.
Bungie's art is beyond a lot of other developers' art. They're just so unique. Even Destiny, dude. I mean, I think that's the one thing that holds Destiny apart is just its aesthetic and the worlds that they create. They're very unique. Yeah, and they're very uninspired by outside design. Things that Bungie do are very their own. So, yeah, that's my top right there, dude. When that's the only preview I rewound and watched again.
I might have to watch it again because, I mean,
They don't give you a ton of gameplay. It's a announcement trailer. You know what I mean? So you're not getting anything in terms of that. And who knows? Maybe the gameplay comes out and it's super fucking stupid. You definitely run that risk as well. But I'm pumped about that. That's probably the one I'm most excited about.
Worst case scenario, obviously, is an Anthem type game.
I know.
When you're talking about live service games, we don't want that.
Yep.
But like you said, Bungie has the experience, and Destiny's been Destiny for years, which means it's been the same for years.
I wish I got into it.
I liked Destiny.
But did you play all the expansions and the narrative and the lore?
That's what I was kind of getting at. Yeah. I don't care.
Like
they're up to the final one coming up soon. I think they talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. But how interesting though. That. You got Cade 6 coming back in the narrative, which was a big thing when that happened. It's probably one of their best twists. And then you have Lance Reddick, who just passed away.
Right.
So it's like they're going to be able to pull that. I'm assuming they're going to play that into his character into that game. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that content right there.
Yeah.
But again, I don't care either because I don't play them. I don't buy the expansions.
I don't know. I'm kind of, I guess, I have gaming ADD. I don't know, we touched on it a little bit in the first episode, how I'll buy a new game and jump from game to game all the effing time. It's kind of an issue. I'm trying to work on it. That's kind of what happens with these games like Destiny, when they add expansion after expansion and stretch it out as much as they possibly can. I get bored pretty quickly. No, I don't think I'm the only one. But there's a lot of people that are looking forward to the newest Destiny expansion.
Well, the world's always so different. Like, did you look at that Lightfall that they just released recently?
Nah.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm so bored with it.
But here's the thing, when they release something, it's a brand new world, it's brand new characters, it's brand new enemies to fight. They're not shortchanging their expansions. I think they do a really good job of it. I'm not personally prescribed to it either. You know, I don't play it either.
We'll see what they do with Marathon. I hope it's different enough, too, from shit that they've...
I agree.
Because obviously Marathon was, like their first game that they ever made, or one of their first games. Been inspired from Marathon when they made Halo. I hope it's not too much like Halo or Destiny, and they differentiate it enough, because... Obviously, they've been inspired from Marathon in the past. It's a game they've made before.
I'm going to assume it's nothing like the OG, but they do gunplay really well. They do traversal mechanics really well. Okay. Obviously, they do art design really well. They do music well. They do voice. It sounds like a winning formula to me. So I'm very excited. I'm excited to see Bungie do something new. Yeah, what were you most excited about in this showcase?
Most excited? All right, I've got two more big ones that I want to touch on. There's three, actually, that I want to touch on. I'll start with the one I'm the least excited about, but I'm still excited about, and that's Ghost Runner 2. Did you ever play Ghost Runner 1?
I did, yeah.
It's a lot of fun, man, and it looks just better. It looks like they're going to expand on that. It looked more of a AAA title. So that's number 3, I guess, and on my list of excited. Right on the bottom, near the shaft, foundation, you know what I'm talking about. Number 2, Alan Wake 2.
Looks dope.
Looks phenomenal. Yeah, I'm not a big survival horror guy, but did you play the first Alan Wake?
I did, and I played Control.
Okay.
Did you play Control?
I played Control a bit. I know they're part of the same universe. So you didn't play their
expansion pack?
No, I got probably 5 to 10 hours into Control.
Good,
it's a really good game. I loved
it.
The combat, obviously. The animations, everything was fluid as fuck. Kind of groundbreaking, I guess, as far as that goes. The environments were... okay.
Very destructible, but very repetitive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was the one knock I had on Control and probably why I never beat it. Alan Wake was phenomenal because it was an Xbox exclusive, so I had never played it. And then when they released the remastered one on PlayStation, I decided to pick it up and play it.
Switch. They got it on Switch now.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go down that alley. See how it runs on Switch, I guess.
Right.
Alan Wake, it's great. I remember when I first started playing it, telling... once again, my friend Isaac, that I think this game is going to end up being one of my favorite games of all time. That being said, I never beat it, and I stopped playing after about 6-7 hours. I think something else came up that I ended up playing instead.
Well, you're gamer ADD.
Exactly. I'm going to go back and play the original Alan Wake to prepare for the second one because, I don't know, narrative-wise and like what happens in the first few hours of that first Alan Wake... phenomenal. It'll capture your interest right away. He's a mystery writer or whatever, and things start to just happen that he's writing, happen in real life. And I'm curious to see what they do. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more of a survival horror game now. Which, I mean, it already was, but it was more of a psychological thriller, story-driven game. I'm not a big survival horror guy, which we've talked about before, so I hope that doesn't turn me off too much from it, but I'm excited for that one. And then, number 1, obviously, maybe it's not obvious. I don't know if I've talked about it at all yet, but Metal Gear Solid is one of my favorite franchises of all time.
Me too.
And it probably is my favorite franchise if I had to pick one. Within that franchise, my favorite game is fucking Snake Eater.
Yeah, it's the best one, I think.
I'm looking forward to Metal Gear Solid Delta big time, and I hope they don't fuck it up.
That's my concern.
Because Kojima's not involved, obviously. Yep. Just don't fuck with it too much. Update everything, you're good. That's my number 1 by far. I'm excited for Metal Gear Solid Delta.
I am too. I loved Snake Eater. I grew up with all the Metal Gear Solid games. The first one, the PlayStation, and up. And the third one was just so revolutionary in terms of narrative. Like, I still am inspired by the narrative. It's one of my favorite narratives in a video game. Kojima can write some crazy shit, dude. Great twist at the end. Great origin story as well. But... I'm concerned.
There's always a but with you, man.
There always is. There's always a but or two.
Hate to see you leave, love to watch you walk away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this preview, man, I think it's very Konami, man. And the problem I see happening here, I hate it.
It sucks that name is a negative connotation.
Dude.
Really?
Yeah. What did that do? What did
You
that
saw a bird,
do?
you saw a
Yep.
snake.
And then you saw 2 alligators and an asp
then
battling
you
in
saw
the water.
fucking-
Is that some sort of like allegory for like the story? Because otherwise,
Maybe.
that's the dumbest fucking thing you could do on that preview, dude. Because it's not even what happens in the fucking game.
Yeah, it does.
It's so unrealistic, dude. It's not.
The bird got away. I don't know if you caught that. The bird got away.
Perfect. Awesome.
So, that being said, do you still feel that way?
If not more so. And then I think the reveal at the end, it's unlike what Kojima would have done. Mm-hmm. It's very not Kojima. Look, they fucked up the Silent Hill re-release. They fucked up re-releases quite often. Yeah, I've wanted
Should
to
I
remake.
temper my expectations is what you're saying. I should relax.
I think
The 10 out of 10
I think
I'm giving
after
it right
this
now.
game comes out, you'll still prefer the original. That's what I foresee happening.
Wow.
I think you're right. Don't fuck with it a lot.
What are they going to change? What can they change?
It's not even necessarily
You don't
what they
have to.
change. Maybe it is what they change.
I'm excited.
You know, sometimes I think when you redesign a character model, it can remove you from that experience.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Tess in the remake of The Last of Us from the original one.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like a different character. And that's not a bad thing because it's probably more aligned with what that character actually would have looked like. But you play these games when you're growing up and you associate that model with that character. And then when you play the remake, it's what they're supposed to look like. You're like, fuck, dude, that's not how I pictured them at all. You know, and maybe that was more prevalent back in like the PlayStation days where like
probably because
you'd have your
had to
animated character and then you'd have your polygon character, you know? So I think that art style holds up so well in those old ones. I don't know what Kojima did, but like I think MGS 2 holds up. I think MGS 3
You're
holds
right.
up.
You're right.
The problem I see is it's almost transparent what this is. They're not doing it because they love Metal Gear Solid as a franchise. They're trying to make money.
That's fair.
You know, I think it's
I'm
a
happy
shell.
to give
It's a
them
shell.
that money if it's the same
And
game
I don't judge
but
anybody.
updated.
My brother will buy it.
Yeah.
I know he's listening right now. He's
Shout
gonna
out to
fucking
Laird.
buy it. That's right.
I know we already shouted them out once.
Tapped
today.
Out.
Which, by the way, yeah. New Simpsons Tapped Out update. Have you played it?
Is this real?
No.
Oh.
I mean, that's made up. But anyway, I don't know, man. Obviously, I'm a Metal Gear Solid fanboy. I'm coming across that way right now, and that's fair. But literally just update it completely visually. And yeah, and I'm on board. Don't fuck with it too much, but you're right. There is a negative connotation with Konami now. Now, here's one interesting thought. Obviously, the boss battles in Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater are fucking phenomenal and second to none. Some of the most interesting. One of them, I don't know if you remember, but you have to die and then take a pill to come back to life. Are they going to fuck with that at all? It's not a spoiler.
It's absolutely.
Everyone knows about that boss battle and how you have to do it. Maybe it is a spoiler. It's a tip. It's a trick. Tips and
for
tricks.
sure.
That's
Well,
what we offer here.
Well, I remember that magazine.
Ooh.
Wasn't Tips and Tricks a
Tips
magazine?
and Tricks was it.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Dip
definitely
tips
got
and
that.
tricks, you know?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
That's what they should have
Nintendo
called
Power.
It's
It's a different
sexual-
magazine.
I used to steal those demo discs.
Oh, fuck. Dude,
Go to
the
the
demo
store.
discs from Game Informer.
Oh, or all of them. Well, didn't they all do demo disc?
Yeah,
That's the
there
first
were a
time,
bunch
dude.
of
Demo
those.
disc. Shout out to demo disc. It's the first time I played
shouting everything
Parappa
out.
the Rapper.
Oh, okay.
Classic PlayStation.
That might be
demo
true
disc
for me,
right there.
too.
First time I think I played SOCOM was on that same demo disc.
Okay.
This is a very developmental demo disc for me. Like, that was my introduction to, like, the world of gaming was that demo disc right there.
Ape Escape for me.
Right,
Yeah,
Ape
I think
Escape,
I
crazy,
played that on a
dude.
demo disc.
That's
Shout out to PlayStation demo discs.
Okay.
Looking
really,
forward to that so much, though. Metal Gear Solid, Delta.
I taper my expectations. I hope it's good.
But if they fuck with things like that, sorry to interrupt you, but going back on that boss battle thing I was saying, if they fuck with little things like that, change the boss battle.
Did they fuck with the Mantis fight on the Twin Snakes remake for GameCube?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's like they at least it's out there that like if you keep that formula, it's going to do well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hopefully they don't.
You'll see. I'm upset that Kojima can't profit somehow from this, or
Maybe he does.
I mean, I don't know how that works.
There's a chance there's still a contract. You know, maybe he is. I think the problem is when you take the soul out of it, it's a shell, and I think that's what that game is to me. I don't think it necessarily needs a remake. Maybe a re-release, not a remake. Just upscale it and re-release it because
I'm fucking pumped.
yeah, I also wasn't too excited about Twin Snakes. So it's like when they re-release these things, sometimes I'm more or less a purist.
And they are re-releasing the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games too. They almost could have just done that.
Yeah,
right.
I could have been happy with that.
They almost did themselves a disservice to do that when they released this new game. You know what I mean? Like, would you rather play the one that they just re-released or this new game?
Look what Rockstar did with the remaster. They pulled the originals. And then they put that piece of shit out. So hopefully they don't follow in those footsteps. That was
We'll see.
dumpster fire right there, man.
Absolutely. If it goes down that path, then that'll be very unfortunate because as of right now, that's my number one game I'm looking forward to, probably overall. Other than that, I don't know. That those are all the games I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
How do you feel about, not to change topics too much, how do you feel about Harvey Weinstein? I don't know. We need to call back Harvey Weinstein a little bit, right?
Shout out
to Harvey Weinstein.
Shout out to Harvey Weinstein.
Hope you're doing all right in there, bro. Oh, God, don't. I was going to say, how do you feel about Project Q, is what they're calling it.
I think it's slightly unnecessary. I already do that from my iPad, and it works perfect.
You can stream PlayStation 5 games on your iPad? Yep. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, remote play.
Yeah, okay,
remote play. Yeah, I mean, I could play my PlayStation 5 anywhere. That's pretty much all it is.
Yeah.
It's just a little tablet, essentially, that remote plays.
On itself. It's a streaming.
Yeah, it's not like Steam Deck or anything like that.
It's like a PlayStation controller.
Yep.
With a screen in the middle. Yeah.
So I'm already doing that, and it works great. So if that works like this, sure, it's cool. The earbuds look cool.
Yeah.
I like those.
I don't think it's anything revolutionary, though, that they might be trying to plug it as something bigger than it really is, like you're saying.
Yeah,
but
it's slightly unnecessary, I would say. Anybody who wants a remote place, already remote play.
I think the price is going to be way higher than what people want or are willing to pay for that.
Does anybody want it? Honestly,
another question.
I mean, because look at it, it's basically a phone, and your phone already remote plays.
Yeah.
I guess release the backbone that came with it, and that's it. Mm-hmm. You don't need a separate console. Nobody's asking for that.
Well, they're saying that it's like the first handheld that PlayStation's fucked with since the Vita.
Yeah, but that was like,
I don't put that in
8 years ago? That wasn't even that long ago.
I don't even really call this a handheld. I don't know what to call it. Like, it's not
it's
not its own system, you know
it's
what I'm
almost
saying?
like the
so
Google
don't plug
system.
it like that, because that's not what it is.
Wait, that's all it is. That's all it is.
It's not its own system, is what I'm saying.
I never said it was.
Oh, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah, but it is its own system, though. Because it's just a tablet that they're releasing that does PlayStation Remote Play. That's not a phone.
You have to have a PlayStation 5 in order to play it.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're still buying a separate monitor.
Yeah, but it's not like, hey, PlayStation Vita 2. It's not its own system.
No. But it's going to be called something. Project Q is going to be called something.
Yeah, they'll try it. But what I'm saying is I feel like they're going to try and tout it as, this is our new handheld, when really it's just a stream. It's a PS5. That's it. You need a PS5 in order to run it. Yeah. So it's not its own separate thing.
It's a streaming thing.
Yeah. I think that might be how they plug it, and they might try and have it at a high price mark in order to justify that.
Knowing PlayStation, they will.
But
knowing all of them.
I'm not on board. I don't think a lot of people will be on board with it, but we'll see.
Only other things I wanted to touch on. Final Fantasy 16 still looks good.
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma, another one of those coming out. That was a really great
kind of an underrated game. The new shit looks great. Dragon's Dogma 2. It did look pretty good.
I agree.
So if you enjoyed the first one, I'm sure you'll love everything. They'll probably improve.
Probably a heavy sale purchase for me. To wrap it all up, we've gone a little long here. PlayStation VR announcements. Excited about any of those?
I'm not a big VR gamer. I don't know. I'm not sold on VR gaming. It's not the end-all be-all to me yet.
They're just not doing enough yet.
Mm-hmm. Can only do so much with the gameplay, I think, so far, too.
Yeah, it seems very stilted. You know, it looks like Half-Life Alyx is probably the best.
There's like a VR coating over every game. You know what I mean? Like, it has that VR smell, almost.
I fucking hate the previews with just the floating hands.
Yeah.
It's just so... I can never get into VR previews.
So once they eliminate that somehow and break the third wall and make it feel like you're really in there, that, you know, obviously will be a different story. But that being said, Arizona Sunshine 2 looks really good.
Yeah, I agree.
I've seen people play the first one. I never played the first one, but
it was VR as well, right?
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
Looks great.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I agree. It looks fun.
I think that'll be a lot of fun. And this Synapse game looks really good too.
For sure. Do you recognize voices in that, by the way?
No.
Yeah, the voices were Solid Snake and Naomi Hunter.
Oh,
they're like reunited. Those voice actors.
And, like David Hayter. Okay, that's another interesting thought. Who's gonna do the voice of Solid Snake in the remake?
What? David Hayter can't.
Wasn't it Kiefer Sutherland that had to...
Yeah, but that makes sense for the narrative why Kiefer Sutherland did it.
Yeah.
Because... do you remember the twist of MGS5?
MGS5. Yeah. Yeah, I do.
So that's why it's Kiefer Sutherland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Venom Snake. So I bet they bring David Hayter back for this. I hope so.
I thought they had a falling out. That's the only reason I say that.
I mean, probably if he signed with Kojima, they did.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes. The politics play out there, but... I don't know. I hope everything works out once again. Metal Gear Solid might be my favorite game of all time.
Snake Eater?
Snake Eater original might be my favorite game. It's up there. Top 3.
Yep.
Ocarina of Time, Final Fantasy X, Snake Eater.
Ocarina of Time, replaying it, I definitely dropped it in my list a little bit more. Nostalgia was attached to that a lot. Replaying it, it's still good. Just very rudimentary.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta like have separate ranking systems. To say anymore like, oh, Super Mario Brothers World 3 is my favorite game ever is like, what the fuck, dude? Have you played Halo 3?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you have to like almost put decades over your
like if
list.
you're like fucking Pac-Man, dude. Best game, like you're an asshole if you say that at this point. Right. You don't actually believe that if you say that.
And I
bet there are people out there that say that.
Yeah.
Or they're like Tetris.
It's like, okay man, sure. Have you
done
played a
Tetris
game in the last 2
since
decades? Yeah. Right, Tetris, what's that?
Even
Tetris
say
99?
Tetris 99. Yeah,
Exactly.
like I would accept that answer more than Tetris.
Well, yeah, that's more respectable. I agree.
But,
yeah, needless to say, man, back to PlayStation VR, I'm not about it, and I think the sales kind of reflect that. Like, public
I don't know
isn't
how
behind
it's selling.
It yet.
Is it not?
No, not good at all. And they dropped their expectations like by 50%, like the sales they thought they were going to make. There was no first title PlayStation developed game for VR announced. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of showcased like, dude, they're not putting their best foot forward with that system or that peripheral. They test it, and if it doesn't work, they throw the baby out with the bathwater.
I love that. Okay, yeah. That old saying that we always say. Throw the baby out the bathwater.
Everyone knows I say that all the time.
Oof. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just, like, once again, I'm not completely sold on VR gaming as a whole until they can start to level out the difference between VR games and regular games, because obviously you'd rather play, like, a normal version of a game that's great. Zelda or even Resident Evil 4, that they announced a VR version of that on PlayStation.
It looks good.
But wouldn't you rather play the normal version?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm not the person they're probably trying to market VR to.
We'll see if they can expand beyond just the people that want that.
Yep.
And more casual gamers, which I think the Oculus did a decent job of that at first. That was their goal with having it being owned by Facebook or whatever. And
that was actually the reason I didn't get one. That's why
a good reason, because there was a time where I deleted my Facebook and I couldn't get on my Oculus.
This doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm. So that's not right. But regardless, I'm curious to see what they do with more of PlayStation VR down the road. I think it's something I could purchase eventually if I ever decide to get back into VR gaming. But I don't even put on my Oculus anymore. I don't entertain the thought. There's nothing you really look forward to on there.
Would you put your Oculus on for me?
If that's like something you're into.
Maybe it is.
Okay. Yeah, we can arrange that. We can arrange that sometime. Definitely.
Good to know. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. We ran a little long in the tooth. Another saying I love saying all the time.
Long in the tooth.
That's right. Alex, why don't you send the people home with another word of encouragement like you did the last episode? What's something you want to tell the people before we sign off?
Just remember to keep it crispy, ladies and gentlemen. And I regret saying that.
So stupid.
Yeah, I hate when you say that at the end. I think in episode 1.5 or whatever, I said some dumb bullshit too, because every time you're going to say this.
It's my favorite part at this point.
Something. So if I had to give one word of encouragement to everyone, it would be, hey, people, just make sure to keep your heads up and keep on trucking, baby. No one's ever said that before.
Wise are words never spoken. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is episode 2 of Punchline Pixels. Again, I am Laird Wysocki.
I'm Alex Van Dam.
And we'll see you next time.